Look, have mercy on me.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of On the Bluff. I am your host, Christian Fowler. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Gabe Kuhn. Gabe, what is up?
What's the word, dude? I had a very uneventful weekend.
Again?
Yeah. Well, I mean, besides Sunday, went to a baby shower. That's always fun.
That's it.
Good food at the baby shower.
Couples baby shower.
Yeah.
It's a new wave, huh?
No, baby showers are normal, right? Like
No,
it's
I've never.
Nope.
Not a thing.
Really?
Never been.
Nope, that's a new wave thing.
Taylor's tricking you.
I don't know. I've been to a few baby showers. I think baby showers are normal. I think they're pretty damn normal, and they've been normal for a while. Everybody gets together.
Never been.
Not in my circle.
Always the females.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Hey. It is what it is.
You're shaming a man
No,
for being unreal.
no, it's not your fault. I think you're
Unreal.
being a supportive friend and a supportive husband.
That's unreal. That's unfreaking real.
Not shaming you.
It feels like you are.
I'm not. I'm just saying I've never been the one. Kenny is in agreement with that. No
Yeah.
shame to you there.
Okay. I got you.
I just
got
think
you.
it's a newer. I think that's a newer thing.
The ladies have always done it, but like the men can come along. The males can come along. Why not?
Yeah, no, it's become
That's
a thing.
happened.
It's become a thing where like couple baby showers and wedding showers like a thing. But
Okay. All right.
I mean, nobody's shaming me.
Not at all.
Nobody's shaming you, but you
I
are.
thought you were like going after because we've talked about like gender reveals are like a new thing. Like they really
Yeah.
are a new thing.
Yeah.
I thought you were going after baby showers as a whole as a new thing. You're just going after the men being
the
at
couple,
the baby
yeah,
showers.
yeah, like the couple showers. Yeah.
Okay. So you're just like, you're just not forward thinking and you're not a 21st century man. That's all that means. You're just not a 21st century man.
Talk
Unreal.
about
Combative.
shaming. Yeah.
Combative.
Hey, he just spent 30 minutes
Hey, buddy,
like we
listen.
all did driving in traffic.
Listen,
so.
here's the thing. I got to eat some good Gus's fried chicken. They had some good cheesecakes there. They had some pierogies because my buddy, he actually officiated the wedding.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
He's oh God, would it be Polish? It would be Polish, yeah.
I don't even know what a pierogi
Pierogi.
is.
It's like a Polish.
Is that a sausage?
No, it was cheese and potatoes in like a dumpling. It's a cheese and potato
that
dumpling.
Sounds very good.
Threw some bacon on top. Ooh,
Very good.
stuff, man. And his mom made them fresh. They were beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds pretty wonderful. I went to 2 steakhouses this weekend, which
How was your stomach?
it wasn't great for my digestive tract, but it was incredible. Friday night we were in Oxford.
It made you a little irregular.
Yeah, a little bit.
Gotcha.
A little bit. I was a little swollen.
What kind of? Okay, what's the steak? What's like your steak of choice? Because filet is kind of just. Is it a ribeye?
Yeah, I'm a ribeye.
You're a ribeye guy.
Ribeye, 100%.
I'll get a good strip steak every New York strip every
So
once in a while.
I knew,
even though it's tougher.
it is. I knew we were going back to back. So Friday night, we were in Oxford with Anna Ruth's family, and we went to a steakhouse there called King's Steakhouse, and it was very good.
Yes.
And I got a New York strip there because I was like, if I'm going back to back, I don't know if I can do 2 ribeyes back to back, especially because they're bigger. So I was like, okay, first night I'm gonna go with the smaller steak, 12-ounce strip, and it was really good. But the only problem on a strip is either the fat is gonna be buttery or it's gonna be gristly.
It was gristly.
It was gristly fat. The meat was incredible, but the fat was a hit or miss. Every other piece was a little gristly, but it was great. And then Saturday night, we went to BT Prime Steakhouse with my family, and it was also very good. But I couldn't finish it, and I'm never someone who leaves steak on the plate. But
Dude,
I
just
was
get a nice piece of fish then, brother.
No, I'm not going to a
second night.
steakhouse and not getting steak.
It's
It's
like
a good
going to
restaurant.
a baby shower as a dude. You don't go to a.
But no, here's the thing.
You don't go to a steakhouse and get
this is
fish.
this is what a garbage take. What an awful take. They get some Chilean sea bass at like a nice restaurant. That's gonna be good as hell. That's gonna be really good. Nice piece of halibut, something like that. Why not?
I don't know. I've never been to a steakhouse and not gotten a steak.
Okay,
It's just not in my.
it's not in your DNA.
it's not.
I'm a man.
It's not the.
I am
Give
a
me my
man.
beef.
It's not the cloth.
God, dog.
Not the cloth that I'm cut from.
Yeah.
He's cut from some steel cloth. is what
My
he's trying
God,
to
like
say.
the fish is not, or the fish isn't manly enough, and
Yeah.
now men can't attend baby showers.
No. See, my thing I just really don't get fish unless I'm at the beach or
You ever been to Coastal Fish Company?
I have not. Like if I went to Coastal, I
Fire.
would probably get fish.
Okay.
But it's not a place that I have been to. And at the beach, yeah, I'm grouper. I'm definitely smacking grouper or red snapper while I'm there.
You know, it's funny. We had a comment in the YouTube section a few weeks ago that said, man, really great podcast after the first 15 minutes of y'all talking about food.
Dude, we can't.
Last week we were
help
talking about legs. That's what happened last week.
Yeah, we called a comment on that too.
Folks don't
fine.
like that.
We can't help but talk about food. I mean, that's usually what our weekends revolve around.
We are literally the hungriest podcast in the history of podcasts.
Yeah,
It's true.
And it doesn't. I mean, I know you eat before you come, but like I don't. So
I have listen. We've talked about it. I have like my Monday
is burrito
It's
day.
it's a Chipotle burrito.
Yeah,
Right on the way out,
Yep.
getting on 240, loop back around.
yeah. I mean, this is probably the hungriest I am all week because like I leave the gym, go home, get ready, come straight here. It's 7:45. I usually don't eat until like 9:30 ish, maybe 10 o'clock on these Monday nights. So they are my hungry days.
I have to get something before. It's late. That's a late.
It's just a weird time because I got to be here at 7.
and then you wonder why you're irregular, all right? Because you're eating at 9:30 and falling asleep on that full
God.
stomach, buddy.
Put his
Yeah,
business
hey,
all the way out
That's
there.
okay. It's
Well, he
okay.
admitted it already.
Yeah, no, it's already out there. It's already. We
out
know
there.
I'm an open book.
Yeah.
We've went pretty embarrassing on me in some of these podcasts, and that's okay. I'm here for it.
I mean, it's like every Sunday you're taking your X-Lax and you're handling business.
Yeah.
So the next week you're good.
Then I'm ready.
Yeah.
Back in the flow.
Good. In the flow. No pun intended.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Good to hear. Good to
Nothing
hear.
else this weekend.
Nothing at all. Like, I mean, I watched a little NFL Combine. That was cool.
Yeah.
We had a record-setting 40.
Yep.
That was Xavier Worthy's fast as hell. So there is that. Although I don't even think that was the most impressive 40 I saw. And we'll talk about this a
Yeah.
little bit later. But
Yeah.
Brian
Brian
Thomas
Thomas,
Jr., holy
yeah.
hell, man.
Yeah.
6'3", 207 to 210 pounds running a 4.33. That is not even. And it's different than like DK Metcalf and like
Right.
running a 4.3 because he is a route running fool.
Yeah.
Like he's got the whole route tree at his disposal.
Yeah. No,
He made himself some money. A lot of guys made themselves some
did.
money though.
Yeah, and we'll really dive in on that a little bit later. But first, let's talk a little bit of Memphis basketball. Let's start with Sunday's game against UAB.
Well, here's what I'm going to ask: can we like? Is there a way to like separate first half, second half? Can we just like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's nuts.
Memphis had won 3 straight coming in this game, where we're back on the apex of this never-ending Memphis basketball roller coaster that we've been on all season. And the first half, they allow 61 points, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, the boss,
damn.
the
All right.
the boss is about to drop again, and that's just where I'm at. 61 points and a half. Like, oh my gosh, Memphis has started getting some positive momentum. Here we go downhill, and then I wonder how many times in the history of college basketball there have been 60-point halves from separate teams.
I don't know.
That's a good stat.
That's
not-
interesting.
I do
That
know.
happens
I
very
do know that this first time since 2010 that a team has been down by 20 and won by 20.
They're
Yeah.
won by 15 plus because they won by 19.
19.
But that's not. I mean, it's just
Doesn't happen.
It's crazy, man. But I think it's a good encapsulation of this season as
That's
a whole.
exactly where I was
Right,
going.
because it's just you can see a team come out and just look not intense, no effort really given. They're not locked in, and they look like a middling team in the American Athletic Conference.
Yep.
And then in the next half, or the next 4-minute spurt, or the next 8-minute spurt, they can look like a top 10 team.
Yeah.
And that's just what it's been all year. And I just thought that game played that out perfectly because that second half, man, I would venture to say best half of the Penny Hardaway era basketball.
I mean, 60 points. It's hard to argue with.
well, and then defense, they held them down to 26.
26, yeah.
It was nuts, and they were turning defense into offense. They've forced so many turnovers. They had 33 points off turnovers.
Yep.
They had 24 fast break points. They were doing what Penny wants his teams to do,
Right.
And they were efficient on the offensive end.
Yeah, no, and you took it exactly where I was going. That game, more than any this year, is fully a microcosm of this season. We saw the Jekyll and Hyde. We saw the back and forth. We saw the lows that this team can take the fan base, and we saw the highs that this team can take the fan base. And when you look at what David Jones did, Naquan Tomlin did, JQ did, Jaquan Walton, who didn't play well offensively but still pulled down 13 rebounds.
Yeah,
like
what the hell?
It continues to show us that this team at their peak, at their best, can still be one of the better teams in the country. And it becomes, the more we see it, the more frustrating it
Of course. That's where I'm going with it. It's like, why can't we see this team all the time?
Because now you look down the barrel, you see, okay, there's one game left this season against FAU before Memphis heads to Fort Worth for the AAC tournament. As of right now, or at least as of last week, I think late last week was the last time that I looked at a bracket prediction. And for the American Athletic Conference, and I can't remember what site this was off of, but they had two teams slated with at-large bids, and it was South Florida and FAU. And now you look at that and you say, well, if Memphis beats FAU in this last game, does the AAC only send one team, depending on who wins the conference tournament? And it just becomes so aggravating what this season is. Memphis, at most this year, should have lost, 3 to 5 games? Maybe 4 max.
In conference, like 2 or 3.
I'm just saying,
based on the talent.
Season long, 3 to 5, probably 5. Probably 5 losses this season. Max.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the conference.
Yeah,
but here we are, bubble team. Memphis is back, as Penny stated earlier this year, where they always are, where they're used to being.
Stop getting used to being there, though. You know what I mean?
Did not
at
have
some
to
point,
happen.
play yourself into a top 6 seed and say to hell with worrying about Selection Sunday and trying to convince the committee to get back on your side.
Or winning a tournament.
It's just, man, what's so frustrating about it is because they've just about cooked their at-large chances.
Yeah.
Although, weirdly enough, we'll talk about it in a second. I think they're scratching it. They're kind of alive. They're kind of alive. They're slim.
Very slim.
They're kind of alive, though. But you waited till those were just about cooked, the at-large chances, then you want to play the best basketball you've played all year. You have 2 24-point wins, a 19-point win, and a 4-point win against Florida Atlantic, likely the best other team in the conference outside of yourself. It's just, man, why couldn't we figure this out a long time ago? And
it's not as fun that way, Gabe.
Worth mentioning with that game against UAB, Javon Quinterly, David Jones, Naquan Tomlin combined for 85 and 106 points.
Yeah.
And then here's my favorite stat, though. They those three either scored or assisted on 34 of the 35 made field goals in the game.
That's insane.
That feels like AAC last year, right? You remember that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
With DeAndre,
With
and
DeAndre
Kendrick?
and Kendrick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and these guys are playing at the peak of their powers right now. And I still don't think it's any surprise that they're way more efficient offensively since Penny installed some plays and told the script of the game. And I think for Javon Quinterly, it continues to show. These last 4 games and these 4 wins, 23 assists, 5 turnovers. Yeah. That's all you need him to do. You just need him to be a game manager, and he's doing that. David Jones, that was really cool, though, by the way, seeing Flora Elena, his sister, out there, and she ignored a FaceTime from David before the game.
Because she said she was at work.
Yeah, she didn't want to, but she also didn't want to give away that she was there, and he hadn't seen her in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
That was pretty emotional. Really cool.
Really cool.
It was good.
DeAndre walking out with Naquan.
Yeah.
After that second half, though, that was a very fun senior day for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Fans, players, coaches, all that.
Yeah, and it started
miserably in the game.
It was by far the loudest I have ever heard the FedEx
Roof was
Forum.
about to blow off.
During that 16-minute 21-second mark of the second half was the loudest I have ever heard the FedEx Forum.
And then you had Andy Kennedy lose his shit.
Pushing folks.
Buddy, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Kenny, can you give me confirmation on this being right there?
Yeah.
Was he mad at a travel call from Christian Coleman?
He was mad at a travel. He said he kept.
Buddy, it was a travel.
Yeah, no, he took 4.
He took like 4 steps.
He said he got pushed in the back, but that's what his whole complaint was because he kept motioning and pushing with his arm.
But I guess hearing the fans at that fever pitch and seeing your team give up a 15-point lead in 3 minutes, I bet all that said and done. It could have been anything that he lost his mind about.
Right.
I didn't think Christian Coleman got nailed.
No,
in the back.
I think
he shuffled his damn feet, and then people were jumping around him. But it's he already traveled.
Well, I think like you're saying, is probably the culmination of everything.
But he he cooked his team, man.
Yeah.
That's
1,000%.
That was a low point for Andy Kennedy this entire year, in my opinion.
100% agree with you.
You lost your cool, then you had a damn substitute teacher in there who couldn't get a hold of the team at all. Like it was bad. I thought that was just because Andy Kennedy in that first game against Memphis at UAB, I thought he coached a brilliant game.
Yeah.
And he was coaching his team up every time down the floor, telling them to get into certain offensive sets, and he outcoached thoroughly Penny Hardaway. This second game, man, after halftime, he got cooked.
Yeah,
well, that's kind of his history, right? Of being a hell of a X's and O's basketball guy, but just getting in his own way. And like you hear a lot of times, like you see coaches a lot get technical fouls or get kicked out of games, and it's meant to hide. That was not what that was.
Not at all.
It absolutely derailed UAB the rest of the game. Yep. They couldn't come back. When that happened with 16 minutes left in the game was over at that point.
Yeah, well, because the problem is Andy Kennedy's way too involved with possession-to-possession game planning and the X's and O's that if you take him off that bench, no one else can do that.
Right.
Because he knows his team. I just thought like, I know it's a culmination of everything and everything's spiraling out of control in you and you get frustrated. But to get that frustrated over that call,
Right.
buddy, get it together.
Yeah.
You have to get it together.
Yeah, that was way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much in that moment. Let's talk a little bit about potential tournament chances, as slim as they may be. I think it's interesting, at least, to talk about because as I just mentioned, I believe this was Thursday or Friday of last week when I checked it, and there were 2 teams projected to be in from the American. And honestly, what's hurting Memphis more than anything is freaking South Florida is 15-1 in the conference, which nobody could have projected happening.
And then the Rice loss,
right? That's
buddy. Take that one loss away,
yeah,
and you're like, okay, I could talk myself into a 9 or 10 seed easily, right?
Right,
now.
but that's a big blemish on the record.
It's huge.
And right now, Memphis sits at 4, if I'm not mistaken, right, in the American.
Yeah, but they have played more games than SMU and UAB, I think.
Yeah, right, on both of those. So technically, right now they sit at 4.
Beat FAU, and I think you could get a top 4. I think
Right.
you still need a little bit of help, but I think you'd be okay.
Yeah, I think the chances are very slim.
Yeah,
I think there's no way that Memphis can go into Fort Worth believing that they got it wrapped up.
well, you're talking about. I'm talking about getting a bye in the AAC tournament.
Oh, I thought you were talking
That's what I'm
about.
talking. Okay, well,
I thought you were talking about their chances of an at-large bid.
okay.
in the
Let's
NCAA
talk
tournament.
at large bid.
Okay.
Beat Florida Atlantic, wrap up the year. You'd be what 23-8.
23-8.
23-8. And let's say they have to, for the sake of conversation, win 3 games. Let's say they're outside of the bye.
Okay.
Right? So they win 3 games, 26-8, and you lose that final game against a pretty decent opponent, is probably who you're going to be playing.
Yeah.
In the AAC championship. I could totally see a scenario, and at that point you'd be there's 6-5 in the quad 1 and quad 2.
Mm-hmm.
By that point, you're probably going to have to go through Florida Atlantic, and say you won that, you'd be 7-5 in quad 1 and quad 2, and you're probably going to have to go through at least another quad 2 opponent on the way to getting to that championship.
Right.
8-5 in the quad 1 and the quad 2.
Then lose 8-6.
And let's say you're 26-9, 8-5 in the quad 1 and the quad 2. Like you've made the case.
Yeah.
But like in the end of the day, we're still gonna be sitting there on Selection Sunday, like just hoping and praying.
Right.
But I think that it's not out of the realm of possibilities. What you're gonna have to watch is bid stealers, and you want favorites to win in all of their
the
conference tournaments.
Yeah.
Like that's what you want, which has happened before. But like, you just need some of the bubble to start shrinking.
Right.
You need some of these bubble teams to have early exits in your conference tournament. Then I think an at-large bid in that particular scenario without winning the AAC championship
Is at least on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because their next 4 out now in Lenardi's bracketology, and their resume is still not bad.
No.
It's just like their losses are killing them.
Right, the losses.
You have what? You have 3 quad 4 losses.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
No.
But Florida Atlantic's right there too, so that's interesting. But I think in the end of the day, the way this team is playing, I just want them to say, Let's leave, no doubt. Let's go
win it.
win the damn AAC championship and call it a damn day.
And be a 8-9 seeding.
But if they get knocked, I mean, here's the thing: if they fizzle out early in the American Athletic Conference tournament, it's all over. It's NIT bound, and then you have questions about if they're going to take an NIT bid.
Right. No, they absolutely have to at least make it to the conference tournament to have a shot.
People
if they
will
get
always,
first or second round bounce, no chance.
People will always say, and I just disagree with this sentiment because they're like, well, the committee already knows what they're going to do by the time they get to Selection Sunday for the most part. They're just like waiting for auto bids to come through. Yeah. I do. Like, if you're playing on a Sunday while the committee is sitting and talking with each other and they have games on in that room, there's something about that.
Right.
They see Memphis playing in the AAC championship, win or lose. There's probably like that. They give that thought.
It's something.
It's something.
It's something.
It's better than not playing on that damn Sunday.
Right. It's better than getting bounced on Friday or Saturday.
So I just think, man, they need to roll through and get to that championship game. Hopefully win it. If they don't win it, you're just going to be stressing yourself the hell out. And also, all I'm saying requires them to beat Florida Atlantic on the road coming up on Saturday, which is not going to be easy.
No, not at all. And that's exactly, you're exactly right. Everything hinges on that. If you don't win that, then it's a no-brainer.
Go win
the
everything.
way in is you have to win the conference tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm so on the fence about this team and where they fit into the conference tournament because there's part of me that can so easily visualize them winning it. I still believe that they're the best.
Of course.
That when they're at their best, that they're the best team in the AAC. But can they keep it together to win multiple games in a row? And that's my that's my flip side of it is there's the other part of me that says there's no way that they can go out there 3 days in a row and keep it together and play a full game and win Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if they have to, if they don't have a bye, and win the conference tournament.
I have two main concerns that just like keep my the hesitation so active in my mind. Like, one, how many times have we seen this year when a game starts slowly or they dig themselves a hole? Penny Hardaway just starts subbing willy-nilly and losing his mind, right? You get down 18-4 against North Texas, and it's like, oh, we're going to play 12 guys in 11 minutes. That's what we're going to do.
Right.
So that scares me. And then also although he's been playing phenomenally, and I think it actually has helped Naquan Tomlin that Malcolm's out. Like, I hate people that literally put blanket statement of like, this team's better without Malcolm Dandridge. That's stupid. I heard Mark Adams say it on 2 broadcasts ago. Was it against ECU? I think it was against ECU.
Yep,
this team's
ECU.
better without Malcolm Dandridge. I don't think that's the case. Now, I can get behind the fact that it has unlocked Naquan Tomlin because he's not looking over his shoulder. He knows he's going to get 35 minutes a game.
Right.
And he's like, let me just let it go.
Yeah.
Let me just let it rip. Screw it. Lay it all out there. And he's been phenomenal because of that. Yeah. But also, when you talk about the depth right there without Malcolm Dandridge,
it's scary.
Damn, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because Naquan Tomlin, as well as he's been playing, we're due for like a high foul trouble game from him.
And if that Jordan comes Brown, if that comes at the wrong time,
I'm not trying to shit on Jordan Brown in the slightest. I'm just not. But like he's got a back issue or something because he just looks overwhelmed out there. He gets the ball ripped away from him. He's not playing strong. Hard for him to get up and down the floor. He's not jumping.
Yeah,
very much. Like you could just tell there's something amiss with him right now, health wise. So if that's your only depth, that scares the hell out of you. Yeah. If Nick Jourdain or Naquan Tomlin has foul trouble, what are you going to do? How do you react?
You got to go small.
Jaden Hardaway?
I guess.
Jaden Hardaway is the way you go small. Like, see, that's my problem.
No, I agree.
It's just, there's those two big issues there for me.
Yeah.
Depth in the front court, and then if they struggle early in a game, how does Penny Hardaway react?
Yeah. No, we'll see. See how it all shakes out.
Yeah, no.
It's interesting.
Right now, let me see if I got this right. I think there's 71 in the net, 72 in Ken Palm.
Yeah.
If they beat Florida Atlantic going into the tournament, they could boost themselves up into the 60s.
Yeah.
Heading into the American Athletic Conference.
I think FAU is 35 right now.
And I think that considering the way things were going, we thought that they'd be in a substantially worse spot heading into the American Athletic Conference tournament than a high 60 or a mid 60.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, like we can have all the criticism that we want to about this season, but you got to give credit for at least this last portion and the way that they responded after the SMU game. You and I, and Kenny, all three of us thought that it was dumpster fire. After that.
You just hate that it has to be talked about as a response.
No, you definitely do. But at the same time, the response could have been way worse.
Response is a response.
Everybody
thought they were going to quit after the SMU game.
Everybody did.
Again, y'all said the UAB game was a microcosm of the season. It's 100% that you. I mean, you heard the guys talk after the post game or in the post game press conference. They never like Jay and I believe Javon when he says this. They never in any of that moment lost faith that they were going to come back, and that I appreciated that because that is kind of the storyline of the entire season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that, hey, we can get this right, and we're going to get this right, not only for the season, but also right now in this game, we can get this right.
Yeah, and I probably would have disagreed with that a little bit until this last stretch after the SMU game.
Can we also laugh, man? And I just see this matriculating in the fan base because there's a lot of things that matriculate within this fan base that are just very stupid. In any fan base that are just like unabashed, just the dumbest things I've ever seen. What I saw the other day that bothers the hell out of me, and I've seen it all year with like the up and down nature. Oh, you're switching up. Quit your switching up. And it's like, okay, let's talk through this for a second. This team was 15-2, number 10 in the country.
Yep.
Rallied off 4 straight losses, dropped out of the top 25, barely were getting any votes. They have 2 more wins, and you're like, oh, it didn't look that good. Then they have 3 straight losses again, and now they're climbing back up. The situation with this team doesn't just change game to game or week to week. It changes half to freaking half.
Yeah.
So when I get certain facts presented to me, you can anybody. Not just me or you can switch your opinion.
Yeah.
It's not switching up when this team clearly their entire, like the intensity they bring, the effort they bring, how they play together, that switches up every damn game.
No, I don't.
Every half.
I don't think
every
you're really,
4 minutes.
I don't think you're really even switching opinions. I think you're just
taking the facts,
switching viewpoint. I mean, you're just
well, you're taking the facts and you're putting them into context.
You're literally just speaking about what's happening, and it just so happens what's happening is switching quite often.
Yes,
the opinion's not switching, just the
team is switching.
The results,
the analysis is changing because of what's in front of you is changing.
It's not that hard.
No.
This team went in the 3 games before that UAB game. I think they were 16th in offensive efficiency. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah.
In the country, those last 3 games.
Yeah.
And it's like we hadn't seen it that efficient all year.
No.
Like, so how am I supposed to be like, oh yeah, they're going to get it right and be a top 20 top 20 offensive efficient team after they lost 3 straight games?
Right. I knew
or
this
2
was
straight
coming.
games.
Knew this was coming.
No, I think you can't act like that. No one can act like that.
No, because it changes so much. Anything else?
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. I know this is kind of off the cuff. I want you guys to kind of give your thoughts. We'll dive more into it later, I think, in the off season. What are y'all's thoughts on David Jones' draft stock, or even his future as a potential pro basketball player?
I think he's got a spot. I think if he came out this year, early second round is sort of where
that's where I was.
I'd thought a mid-second round, which would usually in most cases be like a 2-way contract for what, 700,000, something like
450.
that. 450. That's what it would be for a 2-way, unless you're a higher 2-way, whatever. But that's sort of what I think about him right now. My big question about him, though, is like, okay, he's a little older. He's played 3 years in college.
Right.
And he's got to learn to fit in differently when he gets to that level.
It's
because he's not going to be a volume shooter at that level.
Yep.
The 3-point may translate, but then also if he comes back to Memphis, don't you have questions about him being able to replicate his 3-point ability?
Yeah,
it's like 40% this year.
Yeah,
and he's never really done that in his career.
Yeah, you took that exactly where I was going. Is it's the same conversation we had with Kendrick Davis around draft time last year. Is a guy that's so ball dominant and so reliant on not only having the ball in his hands, but taking shots and being a volume scorer. How does that translate when you get to the next level and you're not that?
Right, but the biggest thing between him and Kendrick Davis is, and Kendrick Davis was an unbelievably productive player.
Yep, say it.
David Jones is 6'6", 225 pounds. No. I know what you mean about the skill set.
Right.
But he's 6'6", 200. He will get drafted if he came out this year.
Completely different. Completely different.
It does make me question because I guess there's some thoughts both ways on this. Like, will he leave? Will he stay?
Right.
this is where I've stood for most of the time. And of course, this is David's decision to make. I'm not like leading any, like I don't make this decision. But if I were him, I'd be thinking like, okay, if I want to play in the NBA, maybe I'd make more at Memphis. Maybe I would. But if I want to play in the NBA, is this sort of the peak of what I would be?
I got to get to it now.
What I would be considered at the NBA level. Is this the highest I can get? I almost think that that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
I guess if he came back and didn't turn the ball over as much as he did this year and shot 40% from three again, maybe he could raise it.
But not, it's...
I mean, we're splitting
hairs.
Yeah. He's averaging 21 points a game, rebounding at a high level, shooting 40% from three.
Yeah.
The biggest factor for him, I think, is his age. He's not getting any younger.
Right.
You
And
know
that's
what I'm saying?
the NBA is way too big on that.
And he's not going to have a more productive year. More than likely.
More than I guess he could. But then, like, you're risking not having
injury or not
having
shooting
as good a year.
not having so it's like the stars have aligned for him. Like Penny has given him the ultimate green light this year, and he's capitalized on that. So,
but let's be honest. Like, if I'm betting next year, is he going to exceed or come under the numbers he's having this year? Everybody'd say under.
Yeah,
it's like you're averaging 22 points a game, 8 rebounds, shooting 40% from three.
Right.
Like, of course, I'm not going to bet over. Like, that's
absolutely not.
Damn good production, brother. Like, I can't project you're going to do better than that if you came back.
No, I would suspect that most scouts are probably looking at him and saying, okay, how can we, if he were to come, would he best develop in our system in a two-way contract in the G League, getting some spot minutes in the NBA, or would he be best served going back to college and playing in a let's be real about it, a completely different game than what the NBA plays, right? And you look at him, you look at his game is not polished. His game is not finished. He needs to learn how to dribble better. He needs to be able to not turn the ball over. He needs to learn the simple
lock in on defense consistently.
The simple basic things of not over dribbling into the paint too far. Like, those are the causes for most of his issues. Again, I would say you look at a guy like Lester Quinones and you say most pundits would have said that he needed to be back in college for another year to get some more time. But you look at his game since he's had a chance to develop in the G League, man.
Oh gosh, this is a tough conversation because you don't know how guys react to getting to a different level and playing in the G League and when they get the money and how they go about it. But Lester Quinones, once he got into the G League and played for the Warriors, like, he's the anti-David. Like, at Memphis, he was the anti-David Jones. Didn't take it too many shots. Played a bunch of defense.
It opened it up for him.
Was a ball swinger.
Yeah.
Didn't turn the ball over that much. Like, he was just it's hard to project David. I have to be honest. Like, the talent is there, but he's a little older. I think he'd be a draft pick, but it's like, what kind of role do people see him slotting into?
Yeah.
Because no one's going to be like, yeah, go score 20 points a game.
Right.
Go put up 15 shots a game. Yeah, we'd love that. No, like, that's not his role. So what is it at that next level?
Yeah.
How crazy would it be if he came into the league and kind of turned himself into a Vince Williams type of guy?
I highly doubt that.
No, I mean, yes.
But what if he's a guy on a two-way who somehow wills his way in there, finds his role, and works through it? I mean, I'm not going to rule that out.
It's definitely possible.
Definitely not ruling that out of the realm of possibilities.
Not at all. All right, fellas, let's move on. Let's take a quick break. We're going lame intro.
That's fine.
Today. Lame intro today.
Outro and then the intro.
Right,
I get it.
We're going cool breeze into it. Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back on the other side with the Hot 3.
Even with all that joking about what I just said, like, Memphis is still top talented team in the conference. If they're not one, they're two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would you be shocked to see them? I don't really care if they went out, but I would not be surprised to see this team go in the tournament, 4 games in 4 nights, win the thing.
They have the talent to do so. It's never been done at Memphis. It's hard. That 2005 team with Darius Washington was trying to do it, needed to win the conference tournament to make the NCAA tournament. Darius Washington misses the free throws, but that was 4 in 4 days. You've got this situation now. Yeah, Memphis is talented enough. There's no question about it, but especially when you consider the fact that there's a good chance it feels like Malcolm Dandridge not going to play against East Carolina. If you don't have him the rest of the season, it does leave you extremely thin in the front court. And so making this run, running the table the rest of the regular season, winning what we think probably going to be 4 games in 4 days, you're going to probably have to do it with about like 6 guys.
Yeah.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. What else happened over these last 2 games that makes you go, that explains the change?
Specifically yesterday was him riding his starting 5. There wasn't a starter yesterday that played less than 30 minutes.
Which is incredible, right?
It's
Simple,
incredible
right?
for 2 reasons. It's incredible because I think that's the first time, and it was February 25th that happened.
Right.
It's also incredible because we just actually did it.
When you play your best players,
good things happen.
Really good things happen.
Confidence is huge. And when you're allowed to continue to play through stuff, your confidence is there, you play harder. When you're out there and you're thinking you're going to get subbed in the first 2 minutes, or dudes you're not used to playing with are coming in, I can see dudes just either not giving it all, or it'd be just kind of be like.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. I forgot to unmute my mic. Yeah, boy.
What is up, brother?
Hey. I know it was kind of a lame outro. I forgot to unmute my mic for the intro. We're firing on all cylinders here, boys.
It's fitting. I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, man.
It's perfect.
I'm ready, man. You guys ready? Of
course.
Yeah. Let's get to the hot 3. Got a lot of NFL stuff happening right now. All right. I got a question for y'all.
Yes.
I know we love the season.
Yes.
But is this time of the year in NFL just not fun? Because you're starting to see a picture kind of start to play itself out as to who these teams are going after, the big moves that are being made. Obviously, you got the NFL Combine happening right now, and you just see these future guys come in, and you're like, okay, who's going to be the next guy up? So my question to y'all is, NFL Combine's going on, who's the next guy?
Ooh, who's the next guy? There's a lot of next guys, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll start with a couple of guys that just jumped off the page, and I think I'll speak for both of us when I say Xavier Worthy running a 4.21. Yeah, gotta give him credit for that. Last 2 years, he was actually he caught the most touchdown passes combined the last 2 years in the Big 12, 25, and he ran a 4.21. So I mean, the past 3 years, he's been balling, and he can run routes. And he ran a 4.21. He moved himself into late day 3 or day 1 territory.
Yeah. I would say anywhere from the 20s to the back end.
That was
1.
impressive as hell. The wide receiver class though is nuts, man. It's
Absolutely.
honestly insane.
Absolutely.
And the other guy I wanted to mention, I brought him up off the top of the show at least a little bit. Brian Thomas Jr. He was phenomenal alongside Malik Neighbors, who's going to be at the top of the draft.
Top 10.
But Brian Thomas Jr. I could see that guy being
right
one of the best pros.
Yeah.
In the entire class, out of even with all these good wide receivers, the Marvin Harrison Juniors, the Roma Dunsies, the Malik Neighbors, he ran a 4.33 at 6'3", 210 pounds, and it's just usually when you see someone that big, an outside type receiver, a deep threat, run a 4.33, you're like, oh, he just runs 9 routes.
Yeah.
He just runs down the field.
Yeah.
No, he can run every route in the route tree. He's very shaky side to side.
But the 9 route is his specialty.
Yeah, 100%. He can take the
scored,
top off
I
defense.
think 12 of his 17 touchdowns.
He can take the top off the defense, but no, he can. He's got some route running ability.
Yeah, and then
which is a scary mix.
Yeah, no, this receiver class is incredible. To talk on the other side of it, Keon Coleman running a 4.62 disappointed a lot of people. But then you dig a little bit deeper, and you see that during the gauntlet drills and the route running drills, he nearly hit 21 miles per hour on the GPS.
Yeah.
Come on, what's that deal? What is that?
It's just game speed is different than straight line speed. Puka Nacua is a perfect example. He ran a 4.57 last year. And that's why you never really heard about him.
It's strange. So, when I was watching the combine, they do explain, through the gauntlet drill, where you're catching each side and then you turn up the field. what they're looking for is, one, can you keep a straight line, and can you reach top speed while catching a ball?
Right.
And Puka Nacua did that the best in last year's draft.
Yeah.
He was a late draft pick.
Right.
But that's what they're looking for in that drill. Can you reach top speed and catch the ball and then turn up the field?
Yep.
And and keep your eyes on the prize.
And Keon Coleman hit nearly 21 miles an hour.
Yeah, but that 4.62, I don't know much.
It's tough.
I'm curious. I'm very curious about Keon Coleman. Man.
I am too.
But he's one
such
thing.
a monster,
Even
man.
though
He
he
is.
ran a 4.62, like the one thing he did really well at Florida State is, man,
Go up.
there is a ball in the air. He goes
Go up and
up
get it.
in traffic, high points it, catches the damn ball.
Yeah. Who else stuck out to you? Nate Wiggins, probably
Nate
have to
Wiggins,
mention his
sure.
name, running a 4.28. I don't know about him. He weighed in at 173 pounds.
And that's the thing with Xavier Worthy. He's 165.
165. And he was listed 6'1", 180, and he measured 5'11", 165.
But I do think that we've seen even
Fast
guys of
up,
that
man.
size can be very. I mean,
Yeah.
Nate, Tank Dell was that way, but he got hurt.
Yeah.
He got hurt.
And I will say with Xavier Worthy, he does not look 5'11".
Yeah.
Like his limbs are so long, he does not look 5'11"
Yeah.
at all.
What
But
are y'all's
yeah.
thoughts on Marvin Harrison Jr. not participating?
That's fine.
Yeah,
It's just
I
how
mean
it
he's
works.
locked in.
We talked about this on the show.
On your show last week, and I mean he no-showed the media availabilities
stuff
and
today.
everything, but he's still
I mean, all these guys are just like, kiss my ass,
Yeah, it
man. If
doesn't
I'm a
matter.
top 10 pick,
I'm locked
what
in.
the hell? Why do I have? If I run a 4.6, you're going to tell me I'm going to drop in the draft. So why would I even take that risk?
Right.
And then also these quarterbacks not throwing, I feel fine about that too, because what they want is
Familiarity.
Hey, I'm going to go to my pro day and do all these things for you, but I want to script the
Right.
entire. Like, I want to show you what I can do, and I want to script it, and I want to be in control of it.
and even
Creative
more than
control.
that, I'm throwing to my receivers.
Yes.
I'm not throwing to these random guys. I'm throwing to all the players that I've played with
Yes.
throughout my career. Caleb Williams would rather throw to Taj Washington and Brendan Rice.
All right.
And
I was going to go there with this, though. I heard Caleb Williams, he didn't participate, but man, there was a lot of, I don't know if it's propaganda or if it's real. I think most of it's real, but apparently he interviewed his ass off. And
that's
was
what
like-
I've seen about all four.
Everybody loved him.
All four of the top quarterback prospects. Caleb
Yeah.
Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and J.J. McCarthy apparently all interviewed extremely well. Who else stuck out at the combine? I feel like we're definitely missing Dallas Turner.
Yeah.
Dallas Turner was incredible at, I think, 6'4", 250.
40 and a half vert.
Yeah, 40 and a half vert.
so
A
dumb.
4.46, 40.
Dude, the stats coming
so
out from some
stupid.
of these guys is so dumb.
insane.
My guy that I just loved watching because he is just a huge human being is Amarius Mims from Georgia.
Yeah.
Now he's got some like serious injury issues and hadn't played a whole lot of football, but he's young, and he's
a tank.
6'7". I think I saw 6'7" and
340.
6'8".
6'8", 6'8",
6'8", 340.
Yeah.
I thought it was 6'7" and 3/4 or whatever the hell it was, but 6'8", 340. And this dude ran like a 5.07.
What was it? 36 and an eighth inch arms. and
Yeah,
11
11 and a half
inch
These, my
hands.
hands are 8.5.
You got
brother.
some meat hooks too,
And
bro.
then these bear paws I have are 8.5. He had 11 and like an eighth or
Yeah.
whatever the hell it was. That's
so
nuts.
dumb.
He's just huge. He's just a huge kid. And if you saw him in high school, like when he was coming out, he's a 5-star, I think.
Yeah.
He just was next to those high schoolers. It was kind of
not
nuts
fair.
to watch him.
Yeah.
Like it was terrifying.
Yeah.
And he's clearly not like the most, like you're going to have to develop him.
Yeah, he's raw.
But shit, man, what he could turn into is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now,
No, this easily could be one of the best offensive line classes of all
best
time.
tackle, one of the
and-
best tackles I've seen in a long, long
Right.
time.
You've got Joe Alt at 6'9", 320. You've got
Olu
Ole
Fashanu.
at 6'8", 320,
Yeah.
something like that. Tyler Guyton at nearly 6'8", 325 pounds. Amarius Mims, who
Amarius
we just
Mims.
mentioned.
Troy Faltanu from
Right.
Washington, he's not as big, but he
He can move.
can move. His
And
ass.
he's-
He probably did the best wave drill I've seen, where they're pointing you different directions. That's probably the best I saw
Yep.
of the weekend.
Yeah, and then even on the interior, Graham Barton from Duke, I think is going to be a very
Roger
very good
Rosengarten from
player.
Washington.
Yeah, Roger Rosengarten, Cooper Beebe from Kansas
Yeah.
State. Like, there's a lot
Dudes.
of really dude from Oregon State, Fuaga.
Oh yeah.
He's going to be a top 15 pick more than likely.
Center wise, Jackson Powers Johnson can
JPJ
play.
is going to be a first round pick. Like, this is a very,
There's dudes
very
all over
good
the place.
offensive line class. And they showed out.
All right.
Tanner Bortolini from Wisconsin showed out on all the all
He had the
three-quarter
he had the
lunge.
fastest shuttle time of all time for
Yeah.
a lineman, 4.28, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Like absolutely insane. Like
Yeah.
DBs run that.
Right.
Middle of the pack DBs. All right, I want to ask you a question before we move on to like NFL free agency. What are your thoughts on JJ McCarthy? Everybody's just slotting him in as the fourth best quarterback. I want to know your thought. Like when we're talking about him, Penix, like guys
Bo
like
Nix.
that, Bo Nix. Like, what do you think about JJ McCarthy?
I think his upside is a solid starter. I would take Michael Penix over him.
I don't
personally.
think he's a franchise changing
no. I don't,
starter.
I
That's
don't
my
either.
problem.
I don't either. Is he younger and have less injury history than Michael Penix? Yes, but if I'm banking on who has the higher upside, I'm going with the guy
God.
who has went absolutely nuclear over the last 2 years at Washington and has a cannon. And look, I know people are concerned about the age and the shoulder injury and the knee injuries and all this stuff, but you can't watch film on J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix in a vacuum and objectively say that J.J. McCarthy is a better prospect right now today going into the 2024 NFL Draft.
I have two pet peeves about the way JJ McCarthy's being painted. And they're red flags to me in the way that people talk about quarterbacks. Because usually when you talk about quarterbacks, it's like Jaden Daniels ran for 1,000 yards. He's fast as hell. He's athletic as hell. He's good off platform. He's got a cannon for an arm. You don't hear that about JJ McCarthy. What you hear is one, oh, he's a winner. He was 27-1, won a national championship
Right.
at Michigan. And I that to me is a red flag. You know who else was a winner? Johnny Manziel. You know who else was a winner? Freaking Jamarcus Russell. You know who else was a winner?
Yeah.
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow. Like all these guys were winners.
yeah,
And know who wasn't a winner? Patrick Mahomes was not a winner.
right.
And like when I hear winner, Desmond Ridder is like who I really almost like. I look at JJ McCarthy and him from the athletic skill set in their arms and like how they were used within their offenses. That's like what I think of when I see him. Maybe it's maybe he's a little bit more talented than Desmond Ridder, and I think the reason we say that now and people take offense to me saying Desmond Ridder is because we've seen what he is in the NFL, and they're like,
Right.
well, he's trash. And it's like, well, nobody, like when he got drafted, there were still high hopes for the guy.
Right. He's the second
So
best
it's not me
quarterback
shitting on
prospect in that draft.
It's not me shitting on JJ McCarthy by saying that. I'm just saying the athletics, stuff is just about the same. Desmond Ridder ran a 4.52. It's been said that JJ McCarthy runs a 4.48. Their stats very similar, 3,000-yard passers with like limited interceptions, but also limited touchdowns because they're handing the ball off and running the ball, and they have a defensive football team. And then the winning thing, it's like Desmond Ridder was 42-6 at Cincinnati and is the only quarterback to ever take a group of 5 team to the college football playoff.
Right.
And I understand that J.J. McCarthy did a lot of winning, but that doesn't tell me how he's going to translate at the next level. And then here's my other pet peeve. And I think you'll definitely know what I mean when I say this. And I don't know if everybody's going to pick up on it, but I am sick of hearing people say, oh, well, he comes from a pro-style system. So you mean he was under center and he had 2 tight ends on the field at all times? That's not what we do in the NFL anymore. It's no pro-style, and the way that people talk about it and the way they know it is no longer pro-style.
It's not a pro style. No.
Folks, literally, last year's NFL season, 83% of snaps taken by quarterbacks were in the shotgun.
Yeah.
And that was probably like 50 or 40, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't have the exact numbers on that. Probably more than that. Like the pro style stuff you hear about is like, that's outdated.
Right. Pro style offense now is a spread offense.
Yes,
much.
and like if you look at like Jalen Hurts, I think the number is 95% of the snaps he takes are in shotgun.
Yeah.
So it's like you just do this pro style nonsense. That's not what it is anymore.
No,
That's
it's not
not how we play offense anymore
Not
at
at all.
any level.
No.
So I don't care if and also, are you impressed by JJ McCarthy going under center with 2 tight ends, doing a play action and dumping it to the H-back in the flat? I'm not.
No.
Doesn't impress me.
No.
Drop back, read it out, get to your second and third read, and deliver a dime. That's what impresses me. And I've seen Jaden Daniels do that more, Caleb Williams do that more, Drake May do that more.
Yeah. Michael Penix.
Hell, Michael Penix do that
Bo
more.
Nix.
Like, I've seen all of Bo Nix. He's a first-rate guy, buddy.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm not.
I'll say that the offense he ran, I'm getting way into the weeds because we need to move on. The offense he ran is the same one that UTSA ran when Frank Harris Jr. was hooping.
Yeah.
The way he was.
Yeah.
It's a lot of first-read stuff, but that's beyond the point. I think Bo Nix can be solid.
Still more impressive than what J.J.
I agree. I agree with that. But people take this like Desmond Ritter plus thing I'm saying is like disrespect. And mostly Michigan fans because they just won a national championship. They don't know how to act. But in the end of the day,
They have the right to feel themselves right now.
Everything that is being said about J.J. McCarthy was being said about Desmond Ritter in 2021.
It's fair. All right, Kenny, next.
All right, next topic is let's go from the combine to free agency in the NFL. It is popping off. 2 stories that I wanted y'all to highlight, and then y'all can go wherever you want to go with it. Christian Wilkins from Miami, defensive tackle.
Gonna let him walk.
Gonna let him walk. They're not franchise tagging him. They're gonna let him walk, let him become a free agent.
Unrestricted.
Will Miami re-sign him, or is he open? I mean, is he going somewhere else?
He's gone. Good as gone.
Second story is obviously, man, our boy Russell Wilson with Denver just got cut. Like basically said, sayonara, bro. To the point where Denver's even willing to eat $85 million of dead money. Like,
love it.
He's getting paid 34 by himself, 20 for in 24 this year. Like he's getting paid $35 million to not play for the Denver Broncos. What are y'all's thoughts?
I want to hammer that out in a second, but Christian Wilkins, money is. I want your opinion too. Money saving for Tua's contract, is that sort of what we're looking
You
at?
kind of have to, yeah.
Because Tua, I saw Spot Track. Spot Track does like their estimations.
It's $50 million, isn't it?
4 years, $220 million bucks is what they're.
Yeah, that's how I saw that.
And they said $105 million guaranteed, which is actually a lower
Pretty low.
guaranteed.
He's probably not
number.
going to take that. It's
But
way too low.
4 years, $220 for Tua.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm more of a Tua fan than like a lot of people out there. But holy hell, that's just. And I know it's just all quarterback contracts are astronomical. But damn.
If it was any other offense, I'd probably say you got to pay him. But it's a little bit more difficult with Mike McDaniel's offense when you see what Kyle Shanahan's done in San Francisco. But still, he's been successful. So somebody's going to pay him. And you're also paying Tyreek Hill. And then you're also paying Jalen Ramsey.
You're probably going to have to play Jalen Waddle.
Also about to have to pay Jalen Waddle. So like. And they're also paying Teron Armstead.
So you're going to have to say, Christian, yeah, you're on the chopping block.
Right. You don't play a premium position. You're one of the best D tackles in the league, but you don't play a premium position. We got edge rushers coming up that are going to have to be paid. Like they're just in one of those positions. Xavier Howard's also on a big deal. They're talking about potentially trading him right now.
Are they still they're the highest paid defensive backfield in the NFL, right?
I mean, between just Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey, I would imagine they are.
Because they had
both of those guys.
Remember who was it? Byron Jones. They had him for a while, and he was high paid.
They paid him a lot.
He's gone though.
Yeah,
they're probably. I don't know if they're still paying for him, but whatever.
I think he was injured.
And they like released him.
But I think Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey are both $20 million corners.
And that gets them 10-7. That's gross.
Yeah, and Javon Holland.
Javon Holland. Yeah,
I think he's still on his rookie deal, but he's gonna have to get paid too because he's one of the best safeties in the league.
So somebody's they're gonna have to let a one high paying guy go.
Exactly,
that's fine. And that's Christian Wilkins.
Christian Wilkins kind of on the way out on that.
Am I the only one that doesn't get the Russell Wilson thing like all the way?
No, I don't.
I think if you're the Broncos, like, just admit you don't want him. But like, you're really telling me you're willing to take an $85 million dead cap hit or whatever,
right,
just because he wouldn't waive his injury guarantee?
Yeah, it does. It really doesn't make any sense.
What?
It doesn't make any sense. And here's why I say it doesn't make any sense. If Denver had a top 5 pick, and even in this scenario, it's hard to make a case for it. If they had a top 5 pick and they could get one of the big 3 quarterbacks in this class, maybe I'm more inclined to see that because then you get the quarterback on the cheap rookie deal, it's a 5th-year option, whatever. But they are outside of the top 10. The best quarterback prospect they are probably going to get is J.J. McCarthy. After cutting Russell Wilson, which they plan to do on the first day of the new league year, which is March 13th, that $85 million, you don't have the money to go pay a Kirk Cousins or anything like that. Like getting a veteran option is pretty much off the table.
Yeah.
So you're already
you're on a rookie deal. That's all you can do.
Right. You're setting yourself back right there. And it's like, is J.J. McCarthy or Jarrett Stidham gonna make you more competitive than Russell Wilson? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. So why not just ride it out?
You gave him a bad contract. Cool.
And draft J.J. McCarthy if you want to.
At some point, just admit that you screwed up with the contract and just like try to ride it out for a few more years and figure it out until it's off your books and see what it, because Russell Wilson, as much as people don't like him and they think he's corny, his stats last year were not bad. Like, he's not the worst quarterback you can have in this league.
No. And that's what I'm saying. With him there, and we can say all we want about Russ, I'm not a huge fan
Neither
of
am I,
his
but
off-the-field persona. But Russ still, for a decade, was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He is definitely one of the most studious quarterbacks in the league. No one can really argue that. Like, he is someone who knows his stuff. If you want to transition away from him and you want to draft somebody and bring him in, draft somebody, bring him in, give him a year or two and let him help develop him. Yeah. Now you're throwing someone into the deep water with really
$85 million in dead money.
Right. With an offense that really isn't super talented, because they're already talking about potentially trading Judy or Sutton, getting rid of those guys. That one of those guys is not going to be there this year. So it's going to be either Judy and Tim Patrick or Sutton and Tim Patrick, with Javonte Williams still trying to work back from it. Like, it's not. This is not a talented offense. Offensive line isn't great. They got Garrett Bowles, and they signed Mike McGlinchey. Yeah,
He was not very good.
No, he was not very good. So it's not a good offensive line. It's not good weaponry. At least let him usher the next quarterback in, not throw someone to the wolves that's not already a top 3 pick or a top 2 or 3 quarterback.
What I'm struggling with more so than anything is you were struggling with, if he was injured, you still had to guarantee him the money. And that was like that. You were struggling with, okay, if he's injured, we still have to pay him this money. So instead, you just cut him and pay 85 right now. Like and deal with the 85 on your, like, it's just I don't get it. Like, in the end of the day, it's like, maybe you guys just didn't like him.
Right.
And
maybe Sean Payton was like, I can't.
Yeah, I cannot work
that
with
feels
this
like
guy.
a Sean Payton move.
And that feels, if you've heard people talk about Russell Wilson, that's sort of what it is. But it doesn't make sense to try to get the money savings of you trying to make him waive his injury guarantee and then dealing with the $85 million in dead money.
Right.
Like, that doesn't really line up with your thought process about saving money from the injury guarantee.
Right, because you're paying.
Because now you're just admitting your loss and saying screw it.
You're paying him on average $42.5 million.
You're still paying him the rest of his guaranteed money.
Right.
Which was
the
huge.
most. I think it was the most at the time.
The
that
most
signed
guaranteed money. Yeah.
It from a business perspective, from an ownership of an NFL team perspective, this is the craziest thing we've ever seen.
I got a hot take.
And also, by the way, sidebar, Russell Wilson, you may not like him. He may be corny to you, and we can have those conversations on a different day. He was dead right for not waiving his damn injury guarantee.
No, definitely
Keep
not.
the damn thing.
Yeah.
If you get injured and you can't play again, you get your damn money. He was right to do that.
Yes, agreed.
Was it a Sean Payton going into the ownership group and saying it's either me or Russell?
That seems like the most likely thing.
That's really the only thing that makes sense.
Because right now
eat $85 million in dead cap money.
Yeah,
they say we want Sean over Russell. Man, Russell's not our future quarterback. Sean's our guy.
This is what they sound like right now for trying to waive an injury guarantee for a potential life-changing injury for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
They look like assholes.
Yes.
And then on the back end, now that they are going to release him and take the $85 million in dead money on,
it looks
you look like bad business
They look
people.
like moronic assholes is what they look like.
You look like you look like morons with bad business acumen.
Yes,
like
completely.
That's what you look like. And I just don't get it. That's why I said from the top, I'm like, I don't understand this.
It makes zero sense. There's no business perspective way you break this down and you say, okay, I get it. That makes sense. No, you're paying a guy that won't even be on the team $42.5 million over the next 2 years.
Wild.
Which literally is going to keep you from being even remotely competitive for the next 2 years, because you can't pay anybody to come in and play quarterback. And it's also going to be really hard to pay anybody around. They're talking about potentially having to trade Pat Surtain because of this, who is arguably the best corner in the NFL.
I just dug it out with Russ, man.
There is no way you can tell me that making this decision is not something like it was. It couldn't have been that bad, right? Like in that situation, like Russell Wilson couldn't have been that bad for the team. It just makes
no. Not at all. No one's bigger than the team, but clearly someone right now is bigger than the team, and Sean Payton is really the only logical answer there.
They're punting on not only their quarterback, they're punting on the next 2 seasons just to get rid of that guy.
Minimum 2 seasons. Probably really 3.
Unbelievable.
Probably really sets them back 3 to 5 years.
I mean, damn. I mean, you have to make tough decisions when you're the front office of the NFL franchises.
At least make them logical.
But make logical decisions.
Yeah, that one's not. All right, Kenny, last point, and let's get out of here.
All right, boys. Hold on one second. Had to spit out some ice.
Nice.
I like chewing ice too, man.
Yeah, I do too. And I had a mouthful, and I needed to get rid of it. All right, here we go.
Mouthful.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. All right. Hey, listen, it's here, man. UFC 299 is here. And this is, honestly, here's my first question for you. Mm-hmm. As you look at the cards.
Yep, I'm currently looking at it.
299 versus 300. What's a better card, top to bottom?
Okay, Gabe, I got you. You ready?
No, hold up. I think I just, based on what I know about 299, I'm going to have to go 299. I'm sorry.
It's really close.
I mean, this is one of the most banging cars I have ever seen.
I'm going to have to go 299, man.
It's really close. It's really close. Okay, but this is going to be our 299 breakdown. Gabe, this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to run through the big fights on here, and you're going to give me the winner. And we're going to start on the prelims because there's pretty good fights.
And you got to give us how.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let's have fun with it.
All right, so we're going to start with Gamrot and RDA, and this is on the prelims.
Gamrot by KO.
Ooh.
Okay, like it. I'll go Gamrot.
RDA's chin is gone, huh?
I'll go.
Yeah, he's old, man.
I'll go.
Gamrot can smack, bro. He can
got
smack.
pop.
Gamrot by UD. Caitlin Chikagian, Macy Barber.
I'm going to go Macy Barber, but that's going to be a decision.
Macy Barber sub.
I think Macy Barber sub too.
Sub, okay.
I think she subs her. I think Caitlin has kept herself in the top of that division just by eking out unanimous decision wins, close wins. I think Macy's too
looks
young.
for finish.
She's a baller, dude. She can fight her ass off. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good fight.
All right, Curtis Blades and Jelton Almeida.
I'm going to go Almeida by KO.
Yeah, me too.
By KO.
Yeah, me too.
Not sub.
No, I'm going KO on this one.
Okay.
Because I think he knows that if he gets on the ground with Curtis, we know what Curtis likes to do.
Well,
just freaking bear hug people.
But I mean, Almeida can go deep.
Yeah,
for a heavyweight. He's got some air
for sure.
Some conditioning.
This is I think this is probably a little underrated fight on the card. Should be a lot of fun. It opens up the main card. Petr Yan and Song Yadong. This is a tough one. This is
Petr Yan by decision. That's what I'm going to go
Song.
with.
I go Song by knockout.
I think I'm going with Kenny on this one.
I think Peter's just cooked.
I think Song is that badass.
Song is nice, but Petr has been kind of cooked.
He's cooked.
Okay. He's kind of cooked.
Okay.
Yeah.
These next
I don't know about
these next few fights are just bang. All four of these fights are bangers. Gilbert Burns and Jack Della Maddalena.
I have no earthly idea how to. I have no idea. I love Gilbert. Gilbert's one of my like low key favorite fighters.
Yeah.
Because I just think he's well rounded and just awesome.
Oh God, this fight!
But I don't know how that one goes. I can't give you a pick.
I'm gonna say this goes very similarly to Gilbert Burns and Khamzat Chimaev, and I'm gonna say Jack Della Maddalena wins by decision.
Okay.
And it's close and it's a banger
Split,
fight. Like a split decision. Kevin Holland and Michael Venom Page.
Page knockout.
Yeah, it's hard.
But damn,
I love Kevin Holland.
Kevin. Well, listen, I will never rule out Kevin Holland knocking him out.
No,
I'm not going to rule that out.
Not at all. Because he's as game as anybody. Like, they're both just going to be wide open, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kevin Holland's a beast at 170, man. He's been fighting his
You're
ass
going to make me pick this next one. I don't want to pick against the guy I'm going to pick
Dustin
against.
Poirier and Benoit Saint Denis.
Benoit Saint Denis KO. But I don't want to do that.
I can't. I'm still going to say Dustin wins.
You're gonna go
Dustin is his favorite fighter.
See, that's why I love Dustin,
tough.
but I can't.
He's my second favorite, but I love Dustin Poirier.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Izzy's my favorite.
I love Dustin Poirier too, man. Seems like a good guy.
But Benoit Saint Denis is a bad
I just
dude.
think I'm sorry, man.
He is.
Like here's the other thing about Dustin. At some point, Dustin's gonna have to go on a downswing. It's
Eventually.
everybody's career.
Eventually, yeah.
And this is my hope, but this is my suspicion as well. Or not my hope. This is my suspicion. Is that this is the fight that's
It could
gonna
be.
the
It
downswing.
absolutely could be. It's fair. I just can't pick against him. All right, and for the main event for the bantamweight title, Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera 2.
O'Malley knockout second round.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm.
I'm gonna go
I'm gonna
knockout
three.
fourth.
I'm gonna go three.
Marlon. Deep down, I think Chito understands it, And I know that it sounds
He doesn't
like
start fast.
no, but it does sound like
Oh, that's a good call.
it sounds like O'Malley, propaganda when he's like, he knows he got lucky in the first round, but he really did.
He really
get
did.
lucky. He
did.
deadened his leg, and O'Malley couldn't do anything from there.
And here's the thing about Cheeto
And then
Vera.
if Cheeto's
and O'Malley
if Cheeto,
almost
if-
finished him.
Well, but also Cheeto just bearing down on the top, that is literally perfect. That is him.
Yes.
And if as long as that we don't have a repeat of that where O'Malley's on his back the entire time, then it's not going to go that way.
Sean's clearly the better fighter. And Cheeto, what Cheeto really gets in trouble with is he ramps up every round. And so he really isn't his best until the fourth or fifth. Sean starts on fire. And so second is like I could definitely see it ending in the second round because Sean starts hot and is constantly headhunting, and Cheeto kind of sits back and picks and kind of gets comfortable in the fight. Sean is not going to allow that to happen. He's going to bring it to him the whole fight, and it's a tough matchup for Cheeto.
Cheeto got very, very lucky.
Yeah,
in the
and
first fight.
that put him on the map.
It did. It did.
But
rightfully so.
Not,
He's still-
not that he didn't follow that up and capitalize on that, but that certainly put him on the map.
Yeah.
What's crazy about that first fight, is Sean still almost finished him in that fight. Like, even with a dead
You
leg.
said that. I don't remember that.
He did. He almost finished him.
You're gonna have to
don't-
show. You're
yeah,
gonna
I
have to
don't
go
remember
back
that.
and show me.
Because I remember as soon as his leg was dead, he was fully compromised.
once
leg
he
was-
was on his back, I remember Cheeto putting him in a mounted crucifix. He
His
got that
leg
bad at
was
one
leg
point.
was dead for about
and his
a
arm was
round
like
and a
in
half.
between. It was like a perfect
He
crucifix. I'm like, oh, my
crushed him.
Like that, and he's just elbowing from the
Yeah.
top. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's what I remember. I don't remember Sean ever having really a high moment.
Yeah, but he gets redemption in this fight, I say. He's on fire right now. I mean, with the way that he beat Aljamain Sterling, you know what they say, being the champion makes you 30% better, and if he's 30% better after that, then he's one of the top 2 or 3 fighters in the entire promotion. So should be a lot of fun, a lot to look forward to with UFC 299 coming up this weekend, and NFL free agency and the start of the new league year beginning in, I think, 9 days from today. I think March 13th. So we appreciate you guys for joining us. If you are watching on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, and comment there. You can do the same wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, or any other platform. We appreciate you guys for joining us, and we will see you back here next week.
Thank you for listening to On the Bluff. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports and how you can become an insider.